Hello, my name is Matthew Leonard, and this is a game I created called Ins. It's a card game. It's played with a set of uh, cards with four suits, ace through king, if you are going to have two players. If you're going to have more than two players, you're going to need more cards. You're going to need two suits per player. You're going to need one to play with, and that's going to go into the deck, and you're also going to need one to keep track of points with. So obviously a deck of cards comes in four, so you're always going to have, it's not like you're going to have like a weird odd number, or you're going to require a weird odd number. But basically, for you can play. It's usually played with. It's probably usually going to be played with two players, but you can add more. But for each player you add, you have to add another suit to the deck, and you have to have another suit to keep score with. Each round is probably only going to be about 2 minutes, depending on how many people there are. Suggested ages of 7 and up. No language dependence. So so in one round, each player is dealt 4 cards. So each player would be holding these cards, not showing them to their opponents. Here you can see all the cards on the table just for convenience and sake, and the dealer would deal them 4 cards. So on the dealer's first turn, or on the first round, the dealer and on the dealer's turn, the dealer must put 1 card in. So in is just on the table. Pretend these 3 are in his hand, these 4 are in his opponent's hand, and this 7 is on the table. So this 7 is how much he's. So everything that's on the table is available to earn. So it's a little bit of a complicated game, but basically the idea is it's sort of like poker, where you wager on having a better hand, but you don't wager with chips. You wager with the cards in your hand. So the dealer wants to keep the best cards. So I mean, you can rearrange cards in your hand, so I'll do that. But these are his best 2 cards. The 9 is a little bit of a lower card, and then the 7 is the worst card. There's no straights or anything like that. It's just a flat total, and that's to keep things simple. So however much you put on the table is worth exactly how much it would have been worth in your hand. So on the dealer's first turn, he has to put in a card, because it's sort of like an ante in poker. You have to be in a little bit, otherwise you're not playing the game. So he puts in a 7. Player two's next turn is obvious. Obviously, he puts in an ace because that's his lowest card. And then it's a dealer's turn again. So now that it's the dealer's second turn, he can make a decision. Does he go in, or does he stay? So if the dealer were to stay here, the player 2 could go in one last time. He could put another card in, but the dealer is not going to do that. The dealer is going to go in one more time. And that's sort of just a strategy of, he knows that he has 2 10s, so he's going to stay on the 2 10s, but because there'd be no point to putting in a second 10 and then just playing with that. So he knows that it's hard to get 2 cards, because the average of your 2 average cards will be 6 and 6, so there'll be a total of 12, and then he's 8 over that. So he knows 2 10s is a good hand to stay on. Obviously, there's some more probability with that about the fact that you're given 4 cards, but basically, the dealer's optimal strategy here is probably to keep the 2 10s. So he'll go in with the 9, then it's the player 2's turn, and he can either stay or he can go in one more time. And he's probably going to go in, because he doesn't know if the dealer is going to stay or in the next turn, because obviously he doesn't know that the dealer's optimal strategy is, get out there. There you go. He doesn't know that the dealer's optimal strategy is to stay. So the dealer, he stays. There's no reason for player 2 to go in anymore. So then the dealer and the player 2 reveal their hands. So let's put them over here just to signify that. And so player 2 has 19, and player 1 has, and the dealer has 20. So, yeah. So, player 2 gets nothing. These will just go back into the deck. I don't think this app has a function for shuffling. It's a really cool thing, though, by the way. Like, getting off topic, but playingcards.io, if you ever want a web app for playing cards, I guess I should plug them a little bit because I am using their app. Anyway, so the dealer will get 16 points. So, like I said, normally the deck would be divided up into suits. So he would then take a suit that was left over, and he would put a 10, and a 6 next to there, or something totaling 16, or an ace and a 6. Just something. He would use those cards to signify that, because when you're playing a card game, who wants paper? And then they would go again. So I don't know if it's possible to. Again, I don't know if it's possible to shuffle. Maybe if I just refresh. Yeah, that did it. So then they would get 4 more cards, and the same thing would happen again. So I thought about the optimal strategy for the other one. That's why they were all laying there before. But it might be a little tough for me to do this one. So the dealer would go in. Let's move those down a little bit. So the dealer would go in. This guy would go in, and things would continue. So that's about it. This was made really quickly. Obviously, if I were smarter, I probably would have done like a conditional if somebody got 2 of the same, like it would double. Like, you know what? I'll put that in. Just thought of that right now. If you get 2, so if that guy had so the dealer, he got 2 10s last time. So if he gets 2 10s, he would double. So rather than getting 16 points, he would get 32 points. I like that. So I'll put that in the rules. And the dealer was set. Alright. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.